Hey friends, Tanya here. Today I'm going to create a two-page layout. So I have these photos here of my nephew, of his birth, or actually the first time we've met him, which was the day he was born, except for my dad. My dad met him just a few days later because it was a total surprise for my dad. And I wanted to scrapbook them, but I want to use something different than a paper collection. I am going to bring in this card kit. The reason I'm choosing this is called City Lights Kit, is because my brother, Chuck, I'm older than him, but he's my older brother. I have a little brother and I have an older brother. Chuck and I are a year and like 5 months apart, where Christopher and I are 15 years apart. And for my brother Chuck, this is his son, his first son. And my brother is so much into Superman and has been my whole life. And he calls us his super baby because he didn't have him till he was 48 and he never thought he could have children. So this is little Chucky. So it's his little namesake and my dad's namesake. So I want to scrapbook these, and I kind of want to do a little bit of like a Superman theme, because that's what his bedroom set is too, his baby set is Superman. So this comes with a lot of really cool things. I love this, like kind of like it's corrugated. I really like that. And then these are the cards. So you get like 4 of each card. And I am going to use these pieces, and this is going to be my paper. And then the card bases is also going to be my paper, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. Isn't that really cool? I love that. Those are so cool. So this has given me a lot of pieces to work with to create my layout. You got some punch outs. Look at this little city kind of punch out. I thought this was super cool, this circle. And then you have like a city punch out right here. And then I got some tape, some foam tape, a block, these little like copper looking gems, and then the stamp set. So the stamp set itself is a city, and I love this like background stamp, this textured stamp. Definitely gonna pull that in. And then you just have like a little ink, and this ink is Pebbled Path. So these are my pieces that I am going to use. I'm not sure if I'll pull in any paper, but I'm going to try to stick with this and maybe pull in maybe one color. Okay, the first thing I did was I took the envelopes, the blue envelopes, and I cut them down. Okay, so they were like this. And then I cut those 4 by the length of the envelope, and then 5 in the length of the envelope. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm going to put these going down. I'm going to leave an inch on this side and an inch on this side. So I'm going to put these going down. I want this to be like this. So I have this blue kind of paint stroke on that side and then on this side. And then I know you're like, well, it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Don't worry about it, because I am going to put a border around. I'm going to cut this down and I'm going to have a border around there, and you won't even be able to see this either. Okay. So then I am going to place this one here. So I'm going to bring one sheet in, and this is the Take to the Sky paper collection, and this is copper clay, and I really liked the contrast that it gave, and it's going to be perfect for my photos, because if you look at the city, it has that color in there, and I think this is going to work great. So this, if you like this paper, let me show you real quick. It's this fun little airplane paper, and I love it. I think it's so cute. It had these cards and tags, and then there was this print, which was cloud, and I've already used all of it. So this is what I have left of this paper collection. Super fun, cute, masculine paper. So again, if you want that paper, it is on the last chance list, and it was still on there today when I filmed this. So I'm going to have this. I'm going to leave about the same amount of space all the way around, okay? And remember, I'm going to still cut off 1/4 of an inch, so that's why it looks a little bit uneven right now. And this one I'm going to tuck underneath, but still I'm going to keep that 1/4 of an inch going all the way around. So this is the idea that I have for this card base, the card bases. I want to kind of run this city, and I want to have this kind of going like all the way across here. Okay, but I'm going to have it running underneath of this blue piece. And I did take one of these and I cut it just so I could look at it, and I cut that off, and then I cut it down because I want to have this here, but it's going to come out like this, and I might cut it down a little bit more. And it's not because I'm trying to hide this seam. I mean, I absolutely want to hide the seam, and I think I'm going to be able to hide it with like tag and everything else. But plus, remember, my photos are going to be here. So I don't think you're going to see it, but I want to give some contrast and another color into here. So these are all the photos that I want to add. And I'm going to add some flip flaps, so I'm going to be able to use all of these. But I want to bring in this, this darker, like, this is called Pebbled Path. I really like the way this made my photos pop. So this is the border I'm going to have around my photos, and then I am going to bring it in a couple more places. So this is baby's daddy, and this is baby's mommy. So I kind of put them at an angle. And this is my other brother, and then myself. And so there's three of us. And Chuck and Christine asked Christopher and I to be the baby's godparents. So that's why I wanted to put us here. And this is our very first time meeting little Chucky. And this was literally like 2.5 hours after he was born. It was so cool that we got to be there like right from the beginning. And I really appreciate that they allowed us to share that with them. So before I bring my city in, I want to do some edge distressing, and I'll show you that here in a second. But this is my dad, and this is my mom, and this is the first time that they seen little Chucky as well. The baby was named after his daddy and my dad, and my dad's dad. So he's actually the fourth. So I want to make sure I put. This is Christine's mom. Now, when I put this in my print, when I printed my photo, it leaves a little, like 1/8 of an inch all the way around. I printed it like this, and then there's 1/8 of an inch, but I wanted an 1/8 of an inch border of white all the way around my photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to trim it off and just cut me a 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 white cardstock, and I will use that. So I just wanted to show you why that was missing real quick. I will fix that for sure. Okay, and these other photos, I'm definitely going to add in here in flip flaps. Okay, I got my Pebbled ink, and I got a blending tool and then a foam sponge on there. And I'm going to bring in this Pebbled Path, and I am going to gut this because I don't want to waste this cardstock. This cardstock is retired. It's retired as the beginning of May. I know you can, I'm pretty sure you can still get it, but I want to save as much as I can because I still have this paper collection, and it's actually in this Take to the Sky paper, and I might want to use it for something else. So I want to make sure I have a little bit of it in my stash. You never, because you always need a good gray or brown, right? So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put like 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to cut my white piece down, and then, but I want to show you how I'm going to do a little bit of edge distressing. So I'm just going to ink my tool up, and then I'm going to bring in my piece, and I'm literally going to, look, make a mess. Don't stick your finger in the ink. It's okay because it's going to be hidden. But I'm literally going to ink that up and then do a little bit of edge distressing, and it's just real easy. It adds a nice finished look, and it gives it more detail. I don't need to do that side because it's going to be tucked in. It gives it some more detail. Just makes your layout look a little nice. And I like how it gives it like a separation from the background. It makes it pop and stand up a little bit more from that background. Okay, I cut that down to 11.5 by 11.5, and it is going to have a border around of 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So this is what I mean. Now, I didn't waste any of that paper that you're not going to see, and this is a border all the way around. And I have these 2 pieces that I can totally create another layout with, or have frames for, or whatever. So I cut 2 Smoky Slate strips. They're 1/2 of an inch by 11.5, and I know there's not a lot of contrast here, but I do want to bring in this lighter gray color, and I'm thinking I want to stamp on here. I'm going to bring this on both sides. And I'm wanting to stamp that textured stamp. And I'm thinking I might want to stamp that in the Pebbled path, but I'm going to stamp it in the Smoky Slate and the Pebbled path, and then I'll also distress it and then pick which one I like better. Okay, I have both of those inks and my paper, but I do want to get a piece of scratch paper so I can off stamp on that. And I'm going to try the Smoky Slate first. So let's see what that looks like. I love this little textured stamp. This is fun. I can use this with all kinds of things. So here, let's do a little bit more. Let's kind of turn this because I want this covered in all ways. Okay, so here is I like that. So let's see if this one is too dark. No matter what, I'm going to distress in this color. Let's see. I'm not noticing a huge difference yet. Let's see. Okay. So there's that. Ooh, I kind of like that. So this is a little softer. And this one, I think I like this one. Okay, so I cut these and I'm going to place them here. I cut a little piece. I've got to kind of butt that up there. I'm just going to go ahead and distress these. Okay, I have this scrap piece of Night and Navy cardstock. And I was just thinking of having a little bit sticking up there and kind of angling this photo. So I went ahead and I used this stamp and I stamped a couple of cities, and I used the back side of the envelope, and I want to bring this one in on some tags. So I'm going to bring in these two stamp sets. I want to use this stitch tag right here. I love this. There's a lot of great pieces on this Marius Trees. And then I might even bring in the part for the top of the tag. And then this Greetings of the Season, I'm going to use the dies. I'm going to use this tag right here. And then I'm going to bring in the metal 3D embossing folder. I love this. It's like a metal plate. It's cool for tools, anything guy. I really like this a lot. So I'm going to bring this in. And this is on the last chance sale. So grab it if you want it because it's going away. Aren't those so cool? I love these. Okay, great texture. And then I created a couple more and some of those tags. And I used the Smoky Slate and that Pebbled Path and then the Night of Navy cardstock. So I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy ink. So this is just going to give it just a little bit of added detail. I love that. So just you can dress up your cardstock pieces or your elements with just something simple like a textured stamp or background stamp. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I want to put one of these over here and kind of tuck it in behind the city scene. Oh, you know what? Let's distress these. That would give them just a little bit more detail. All these little extra steps you take just really give your layout that extra wow, you know? I just love doing this kind of stuff. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate if you're watching this that you do that. And if you're enjoying this video, which I hope you are, give me a thumbs up. I love creating these videos and teaching and helping and inspiring you. And I need to reach my goal and help me reach my goal and hit that subscribe button and that like button so YouTube shares my videos with more people. I really appreciate it. I will do my best to leave all the products that I'm using that are available in the description box below. Okay, so I'm gonna move in one of these over here, and then one of these over here. And then I want to put my title like right about here. And I hadn't glued this down because maybe I'll put it here, but I'm thinking here. So then I want to give that, I want to be able to raise those or lower those if I want. And I'm thinking here, I want to put these like this. I'm going to put these over here. And I am going to stamp on top of this as well, like baby. And then I am going to put this one here. And this fun one, this is like my favorite here. I'm going to use this one for journaling. So I am probably going to stick this one like here. And these I'm going to take, and I would like to put, I think I want these down here, and I'm going to pop them so they have some like dimension. I'm going to make this one a little bit higher so you can, this one's going to kind of stick out here, and then this one's going to go a little further. And I'll do that with some foam tape. And then this one, I think I want this one like up here somewhere. So I'm also going to bring in this Nested Essential dies, and I'm going to use a couple of these. I think I'm going to use these for my my title, and then I want to bring in some banners. Okay, so I went ahead and distressed that and did a little bit of that same stamping on there. And then I cut a white one. And I think that this right here is going to be where I'm going to put my title. Okay, so I'm bringing in this old Close to My Heart stamp set. I will never get rid of this. I love this. It's Superpowers. So I cut several of these. I stamped these in Memento and fussy cut them out, and then stamped that in that copper clay. And I'm going to use these for my embellishments. I colored my pieces, except for this one. I think I'm going to bring in yellow on here. Now, this is the markers that I use, so I just want to give you a look here. And I'll give you a look at the inks that I used in case you want to screenshot those. I'm going to speed this part up quite a bit, but I wanted you to see playing with my embellishments and my placement and some of the details that I do when I am creating them. Let me tell you a little bit more of this story. I told you all the fun, exciting parts of meeting little Chucky and being able to be there right when he was born, but let me tell you the rest of the story. So later on that evening, we had all gone home. Chuck went home to feed the dogs. They had been home by themselves all day long, and he wanted to take a quick shower before heading back to the hospital. Well, when he got back to the hospital, he was walking down the hall, and he had heard a code blue, and it was Christine. So he walked into that very scary situation, and they rushed her off, and she went back into emergency surgery. My brother said that after they wheeled her out, he sat there in the room alone with his son and picked him up and just rocked him back and forth for hours, really scared, not knowing what to do, and just knowing that they both needed her. He didn't think to call any of us to come up there and be with him, so he wasn't alone through all of this. Thankfully, Christine came out like a trooper, and in a couple of days, she was able to go home with her family, and we are so thankful for that. I pulled this old Into the Wild card making stamp set by Close to My Heart to use this Oh Boy for my title, these stars, and that Hello Baby right there. I'm going to do a little bit of sponging with my Daffodil Delight ink on my title piece, and then stamp over top of that with the Memento ink. So while this baby might be super special, his mama is a superhero in my book. I did get permission to tell little Chucky's story and their story here on YouTube. I'm going to add some stars from that baby stamp using my Misty Moonlight ink, and I'm going to put them randomly around each one of those embellishment clusters. I wanted these to just be subtle in the background. So I'm going to bring in that tag, and I'm almost out of glue here. Bring in that, because this area right here is just a little bit naked. And I went ahead and I took the other corrugated piece that I had cut out, and I cut that in half so I can kind of create a little tag. And I did go ahead and put these photos, the additional photos, in flip flaps. And I will stick these on the outside of my plastic sleeve of my memory protector. And it'll be interactive, and you'll be able to see the additional photos. These little girls right here are Christopher's daughters. So these are my nieces. You've seen me create layouts here on my channel with those sweet little girls. And I went ahead and created my journaling, and I typed that up. I used Pages on my Mac and just used my my PictureMate 400 to print that. And I just used cardstock. And then I created a QR code. And the QR code is a little film of little Chucky. It's his first cries, or some of his first cries on his first day. And I just thought that, you know, to see him in his little incubator and crying, and the little nurse changing his diaper, I just thought that was a fun little thing. And I want to put that right about here. And it will be able to be flipped up and scanned. I'm going to pull in these industrial trinkets. These are on the last chance list as well, so if you want them, grab them. They came with that Take to the Sky paper collection, and they're just, I've never used them, but there's these little metal trinkets, and I thought, you know what, Man of Steel, and I thought, well, why not put these little metal things in there instead? So let's see how those look. I think I'm going to put them upside down so they can go like this. But I think I like them like that as well. Like, even they look like crushed little bullets. And, you know, the Man of Steel. So I think that's probably a really good idea. So let's do that instead. Let me give you a closer look at that. I love the fun little extra details of the distressing and the stamping and like the embossing folder. This was a lot of fun, and the detail with popping these up just kind of give it a little bit more of a realistic look. I think my brother is going to be very happy with how his son's baby layout came out, and I will add this to his album, and I'm super excited. If you're looking for more inspiration or other baby layouts, check out my next video.